GP race number 3, 21 riders, 10 laps this time, the final SX2 GP race of the British Grand Prix. Remember, the rider who scores the most points will be our overall British Grand Prix champion in the SX2 category here tonight. Close, Peters, Anstey, Oldenburg, McElrath, Parr, Clout, Lopes, Owen, all getting ready to go. Desprez, Miller, Yoder, Bourdon, Linville, Vogel, Escoffier, Nice, and the wild card of Dylan Woodcock. Final race of the British Grand Prix for them. Back to Kristen for another update. Go ahead, Kristen.
Thanks, Ralph. Before the start of this final GP race, Enzo Lopes' Club MX team had replaced his clutch plate. That was incredibly difficult to do within 8 minutes. They got it done. They poured some water bottles on the front of the casing just to cool it down. And guys, I do not envy their mechanics. MVP of the day, also our defending champion, Shane McElrath. Tighten the chain up, guys. Just a few adjustments for this final GP race.
As Kristen said, it's not necessarily always that something's wrong. You just want to make sure that nothing goes wrong.
Well, I promise you they didn't change it because they just wanted to change it. Something's wrong. So what I'm interested about, when you put a new clutch in, sometimes it can be very different. So we'll see what happens here.
All right, the final start for the SX2 riders. Here we go. Chaos Corner awaits. Who's going to get there first? McElrath right there, and the number one is number one with Anstey right on his heels, looking to the inside on the red Honda.
All
Top
right.
two battling for the overall win here. They both have won a heat race. Who's going to win the number 3 race?
Right, this is where it all comes down to. This is where the points and the money. Oh, big crash through the rhythm. Couple of guys go flying.
Not good.
And Oldenburg sits in third. He's closing in. McElrath, Anstey, Oldenburg. And here comes Lopes on the 56. Clout involved in another one. What a night for Luke Clout, and not in a good way. First lap is in the books.
Got 2 winners going for it.
Shane McElrath and Max Anstey fly over the finish line jump with Oldenburg right on their heels. And here comes Enzo Lopes already up to 4th.
Yeah, Lopes once again. He may not be. Oh, we've got red cross flags, yellow flags. We've got riders still down. That looks
That's
like
Michael Alessi. Michael Alessi on the 800 is down hard in that rhythm lane.
And so the riders have to single every jump. You're not allowed by rule to double any jumps. You have to roll through there for safety of the downed rider.
McElrath back into the throttle. Anstey right there with him.
I'm telling you guys, Oldenburg sets back there in 4th. Well,
let's take a look at this. Watch for the 800 deeper in the field.
oh, some riders get together. Oh, that was blows.
And
So
Alessi.
Alessi was going to try to jump to the inside, and Blows was there.
Alessi has, come across from the right, from the right to the left, and unfortunately, Blows had nowhere to go but to land on top of him there.
And you can see as they were headed to that rhythm lane, Shane McElrath looking over to the left because he knew that's where that situation was, and he knew to be a little bit slower through there again. And now he bobbled a little bit through there too, Jeff, and that allowed Anstey, when they got that clear of it, to close in a little bit.
Well, and McElrath just made a big mistake in the turn right after the Alessi situation, and that allowed Anstey, Lopes, Oldenburg, they're right there. I mean, McElrath has lost a little bit of his focus, and he may lose the lead.
What makes it really difficult with respect to Michael Alessi on the ground here is these guys having to roll through this whole section completely ruins their flow of the whole lap, and it makes it actually quite challenging.
You can see McElrath again looking over to be aware of what's the situation with Alessi. Mike's still down on the ground.
Look at Lopes, though. He's finding, oh, look, it's getting a little bit rutted there. Lopes taking the long way around. Club MX, Yamaha team's got to be really happy with how their man is performing here.
Anstey having to worry about Lopes behind him all at the same time, trying to figure out how he's going to catch Shane McElrath to get around the rider from North Carolina. And here he comes looking inside. Anstey, oh, he was right there, just couldn't get it closed in that corner.
I mean, this is it. This is for the GP win.
Halfway home in this opening Grand Prix of the 2023 season, and McElrath looked to the right this time.
Red flag.
Yeah, it's looking that way. Everybody's slowing this time. to a crawl, and the red flag is out. So they can properly attend to Michael Lessie.
Yeah, and remember, Michael Lessie was kind of in a semi-retirement stage of his career. Came back to ride World Supercross and ride the 250 class here, the SX2. He went down hard into the up face of that jump. Now, we only have to go back about 8 months ago, Chad, where you had a similar situation. Unfortunately, when we were in Cardiff, for the first round of World Supercross last year, you went full stop into the up face of a jump. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing good that you can, you know, say about it other than it just, the ground doesn't get any softer when you take a few years off or retire it and then come back, you know. So it's, man, I hate to see it for anybody. And, you know, we've all been there, and I just hope that Mike's okay. And then we're just, you know, red flagging this thing to be able to get him taken care of the best we can.
Well, so now this is really unorthodox. They had a plan, 3 races, 2 breaks in between. Now the whole script gets thrown out.
A 4th start.
A 4th start now. Delay in this.
And so there's certain things you can and cannot do during a red flag, Chad.
So I should know the rules, but I'm not 100% on the rules. I don't know if we're going to go a full race length here or if they're going to shorten it, and so we'll have to get some information.
You see McElrath's #1 right there alongside of Anstey. Kristen, a lot going on down there behind the starting gate. I see Enzo Lopes' bike. What can you tell us?
Yeah, guys, they had to change out the clutch in between those GP races. We talked about that, but now the bike, a lot of smoke coming from up here. You guys can see down here where the radiator is. They're trying to throw water on the outside of the casing, but down here in the radiator, there's those pieces of dirt and debris that's getting stuck in front of the filters up there. Guys, this bike is hot right now, and that's just how Enzo's been riding it. They're trying to cool it down with water bottles, but they only have so much time and amenities available to them to be able to get this bike out there for Enzo, who's racing with, again, a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, I give him an A+ for that, but unfortunately that's not doing anything.
It's worth a shot, right? You got to try everything you can.
It is. You need like a battery-operated leaf blower or something like that, and, you know, get some air through the radiators.
Well, you're not going to miss anything. We're going to take a quick pause here while they continue to attend to Michael Lessie. There's well, riders are getting ready to go here, and this should be a staggered start.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
We are past the point, I believe, of putting everybody back into the original start positions and doing a full distance because we had reached halfway.
Yeah, well, they had 4 laps in the books, getting ready to click down 5 before they pulled them off there.
So it's one thing that's kind of interesting is momentum that Rick Ware Racing is carrying into this event. They have already won for the first time an NHRA competition with Clay Milliken, and the NHRA team is in competition again this weekend in Denver at the Mile High Nationals. Big event for that series over there. Their American Flat Track team won for the first time for KTM since, what was it, my brain just shut off here. They won with Briar Bauman. Let's get the update on Michael Lessie from Kristen while I get my brain straight here.
Ralph, just a moment ago, I checked in with his mechanic as they were rolling his bike back to the paddock. I asked him, is he awake? Is he okay? They said, yes, he is alert. He is back up. He is okay, as the crowd erupts and cheers for him, knowing that he is, in fact, alert, guys.
Looks like a little bit of discussion here from our FIM officials about positioning, who was where and who do you slot in behind. And typically on these types of starts is that you're not allowed to pass the rider in front of you until you pass a certain point. Not everybody just goes at once, will be my understanding of the rule.
Correct, my understanding also.
Well, as you're looking at the line of riders here, all staggered, getting ready to go. Bourdon just in front of the wild card of Woodcock. We'll have 6 laps remaining to go when we get this one back underway.
Well, the great thing about World Supercross is it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, way to go, Forrest. You're right. Back here at the British Grand Prix, the final GP race for the SX2 category of the night. We are happy to report that they have been able to get Michael Lessie off of the racetrack, and he was awake when they did so. So happy to say that Mike is awake and off the racetrack.
Chad, would you think about that much, like knowing that a rider was down, or were you just so focused where it's like the mechanism is cleared and you're completely blocking that out?
Yeah, I think there's different parts of your career, right? I mean, I think that these guys are well in their prime here, so I think that they're built right. They'll forget and move on and block this, on situation out.
I mean, there he is.
There's the crowd cheering for Michael Lessie, and Mike waving back to the crowd here at Villa Park. Great to see. Mike is a tough athlete.
I don't know.
One thing about being a Supercross racer, you really have to have a short memory for things, right? You have to clear it and move on, put it behind you.
Mike's dad, Tony, is here as well. He's one of the team managers in World Supercross. And there's Enzo Lopes, who's fighting through a dislocated shoulder here tonight. Then Anstey just in front of him, and Shane McElrath just in front of him. Rick Ware Racing entry.
So we'll have 6 laps when we get back here?
6 to go, yep.
My guess is the first jump out of the first turn, they won't be able to pass before that point.
Well, and keep in mind, see the riders way to the right that are at the tail end of this line. The track comes back around and goes across there.
Yes,
so everybody has to move. That's, like pretty quick.
Yeah, this is going to have to go pretty seamless.
And there's some officials right there that are going to have to manage that.
Here we go.
Keep an eye on that. There they go. They're saying, get going.
Nancy and the rest are underway.
Just
as you said, boy, they just made it too, didn't they? McElrath out in front with Anstey on his heels once again as we get back at it here at the British Grand Prix.
Well, and guys, I'm looking at the rider, Mitchell Oldenburg, who's been quick all day. He was in 4th, and he started going back just, we got to pass the
Anstey going for it, and he bobbles, and that's going to open the door for Lopes. Here he comes. Enzo trying to get inside. Dislocated shoulder and all, going for it here at Villa Park.
Got it.
Enzo's got the inside here.
It's going to work. Lopes is up in front of Anstey.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is Oldenburg has a chance to sort of redeem himself right here if he can stay with the lead group. They inched away from him last time.
Oh, you can see the bobble from Anstey, almost lost the front end, then slid the rear end, and that's going to open the door, and here comes Lopes.
So Chad, did he mean to do that, or did he go inside because of the bobble?
Yeah, like for me, it looked like he was going to dive on the inside, and he's kind of lost the front, and he's just stayed committed, and unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out for him.
And Enzo Lopes reel in Shane McElrath and get a GP win here tonight.
Well, McElrath, once he gets on this 250, Rick Ware Racing, Mobile One back Yamaha, he has just found his groove here in World Supercross. Little mistake by Anstey, that's going to cost him.
What a ride by Lopes here today. Dislocates his shoulder in the first practice session of the day. I mean, it was all the way out. Had a medical worker put it back in place for him. Comes out and performs incredibly well in all 3 GPs here tonight.
And he just looks so calm. he's really rode awesome, and just I think he's being smart. We don't obviously know how much pain he's in, but just, yeah, I just like the way he's looked all day with what he's been dealing with.
It's going to certainly hurt tomorrow, but it's going to feel a lot better if he's standing on the podium. Just a couple of laps remaining here in this race, and as we were starting to talk about earlier, Shane McElrath leads by 5 points over Max Anstey. So if he hangs on for this win, Jeff, he will be the overall winner.
Yeah, McElrath has a few points to work with right now. I mean, even if Lopes really put the pressure on, if Lopes gets close enough, you know, McElrath, I'm sure he wants to win this race, but if it means just giving Lopes a little bit of room so he doesn't take him out, at least you've got those points to work with to give you the GP win. And
Shane won both overalls last year at Cardiff and at Melbourne en route to his first SX2 championship last fall.
I mean, he's inching up on it, right?
He is.
He's got the line.
Enzo's on a charge. Rick Ware Racing winning a Wally and NHRA competition already this year in Chicago with Clay Milliken, their driver there. They're competing in Denver this weekend, the Mile High Nationals. They won an American flat track race for KTM just a weekend ago in Lima, Ohio for Briar Bauman, their rider there. And here comes Lopes inside, new leader, and McElrath bounces right back, gets back in front of him.
I mean, Chad, Lopes he looks like he's doing it really easy too. There's going to be one lap to go here in this final race. Lopes is working the bikes. You saw points as they run.
And McElrath's teammate, Rick Ware.
Here he goes, here he goes.
Lopes again inside. McElrath bouncing back to the inside. He's not done yet. The reigning champ wants that #1 again here tonight, and he's got it the next corner. Jensen Button, the former Formula One world champion. P3, by the way, today at Chicago, where NASCAR will be running their first street race this weekend. So it's a great weekend for Rick Ware Racing if Shane McElrath can win here and maybe Jensen Button tomorrow. Down goes Lopes. And don't forget, he's got a dislocated shoulder and he landed right on it. Checkered flag, Shane McElrath wins the British GP here in Birmingham, England.
Wow.
Really impressive ride by Shane McElrath.
Guys,
yeah, really stable, right? I mean, he had pressure when Lopes made that move on him. He did not waver. He was very confident. Oldenburg rides up. Oh, let's take a look at this, right? So he's charging. Watch, he lands and just washes the front end. So he starts the day falling in the turn just there by that Fox Sports banner, ends the day in the same spot.
But Lopes got back up, got going again, and rolls